Hey guys, I am super excited. Welcome to our highlights that we're doing, our spotlights that we're doing of our amazing speakers that we're going to be having at Skill with Stability. I'm today here with Jay. And Jay, before I need to do a proper introduction because some of the topics that you're going to speak on at the event, honestly, as an integrator, an operator in business, I'm like, I wish I had seen this before. I wish I had experienced this before in my life. I remember when I spent so many years helping business owners through CRM implementation. And even today, it's just like this is such a need. So before I get started, today's live for the business owner who's tired of feeling like everything lives in their head. So if that's you, stay with us because this is going to be important. And also, like if you're feeling like the minute you step away, things are starting to slip, this is going to be a good talk for you. We're going to talk about how to get your operations, marketing, and team communications out of this chaos that we're constantly experiencing and into a system that actually supports your life. Because at the end of the day, what we're wanting to accomplish here at Scale with Stability is we're building businesses that grow the right way with systems, with stewardship, with leadership, and without sacrificing the things that we believe are the most important: our faith, our family, our health, and definitely our peace of mind. And, something that I want to make sure that we acknowledge, as we're growing our businesses, this topic is what a lot of the time stops us from wanting to do more, right? We're so concerned that, if I sell more, the things are going to start falling through the cracks. I'm not going to be able to do it. And that's often, it's not the lack of leads or whatever that may be. And we often say is a problem is this thing in the back of our minds that is constantly telling us we cannot grow, because what if that growth just ends up like messing everything? So today I'm excited for my special guest here, one of our dear friends, Jay Bix. Jay, quick introduction. You've been in digital marketing for so many years. Like you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. When I think about it, I realize how old I am.
1997, I think that's what I was reading. Is that the case?
So 1997, I built my first HTML web page. And I've had kind of this, even though I've done other things throughout my career that weren't digital marketing related, I've always kept coming back home to web or digital in some aspect. So it's been a long time. I mean, can you believe it's like 30 years next year that I've been in this whole web and digital space?
That's impressive. You founded your marketing company, JVI Mobile Marketing. You're the creator of Journey Builder. And I think especially if you have caught any of the trainings that are on YouTube, like if you haven't, go check them out. We were just in a session and somebody was talking about like, how do I train my team? Go find him on YouTube. What's the handle in YouTube that they can find you with?
It's at JVI Mobile. So at JVI Mobile.
There you go.
Yeah.
Make sure to check him out. But one of the things that I love is that you are really focusing on helping business, especially at Scale with Stability. Your session specifically, it's called Company Cortex, build 6 AI brains from the documents you already own. And I'm really excited to talk about this because really operations is the brain of the business. So for anybody here that's watching, I just want to ask you guys this question because I think it's important to like set ourselves like, from all the different things that I have in the air, that I need to like do for my business. We have so many things that we're juggling constantly. If your business lost you for, let's say, maybe not forever, but let's just say 2 weeks, what would break? And how much would it cost you to replace that? Now, before we get started, think about that. But Jay, I'm curious, what do you think are the warning signs of business, like that you can say that this business is running on memory instead of running on systems?
Yeah. So before I kind of get into that, let me ask everybody who might be watching this question. Like, how many of you have a folder on your computer called like important read later, or you add bookmarks thinking I'll get back to that, or maybe you have 47 browser tabs open because you're like, ooh, I have to read that, but I can't right now. Let me leave it open. I'll get back to it. And then something inevitably happens where like you close down your browser, you never open it up, and you're like, oh, I forget what I was even looking for, right? Or to follow up with that, you when you want to train somebody, you realize that you're like just telling them everything that's up here, and you have to like literally walk them through step by step everything that you do, rather than being able to just give them something they can just go do without asking you 47 times, right? 47 is a number that comes up in this whole thing a lot. So 47 browsers, 47 times. If I use it a lot, but yeah, so that's when because if you go away and you don't have a place for them to go, and I'm not, I am talking about, but I'm not talking about the SOP binder that's collecting dust on a shelf. Like, we are talking about that, but that's not where you want them to go, not in this day and age, right? So that's really, we're going to help people kind of, all those things, those folders, those browser tabs, those binders, they're costing your business money right now. And what we do is we tell you exactly how to fix it using the files you already own and the brain that is already in your head.
I love that. I think it's going to be such a great conversation, and it's definitely going to put people into this like self-audit, okay, is that who I am? Now that you have like talked to so many people, especially as you're doing trainings on this topic, what do you think? I'm going to go back to that question. What are the warning signs? Like, how can you tell if this business owner or this business, it's definitely not running on systems?
Yeah, that's good question. We can ask them, most business owners think they're disorganized, right? It's not that they're disorganized, it's that their systems are disorganized. So the information is there. So when I'm talking to business owners, I'm like, do you have contracts? Do you have SOPs? Do you have call recordings? Do you have research that you've done? Like, do you have that? Do you have a Google Drive or a SharePoint or a Dropbox? Like, do you have this stuff with information already in it? First of all, if they say no, everything's up here, bingo. If they say, yeah, I've got all that stuff, then, I could say that it just sits there. It's very static. But the problem, and that's the problem of it, is it's static, right? It's just sitting there. You don't need a better filing cabinet. You need a brain, right? So the real shift is going from, I have all this information, but I need it to turn into wisdom. I need it to turn into operational intelligence. And that's when I'm speaking with a business owner, that's how I know and how I kind of reframe it back to them, because we all have those documents. We're still building notebooks in our business, right? So, our brains, we call them brains, they're notebooks, brains. Just so that, we can become more lean and more efficient over time. So really it's, those are the questions that I talk about all the time.
I think like, especially visionary business owners, most business owners tend to be more in the visionary, right? You need them to be that way. Most of the time when they're thinking about operations and when they're thinking about, the processes and the systems that they have to put in place, these brains that you're talking about, it can be very overwhelming. It can feel like, where do I even get started here? And a lot of the times I've seen business owners think about, especially now with AI, like, oh, this tool is going to help me. This is the tool. Like, I'm just going to sign up for something or a service, and this is going to be the thing that's going to help me. Why do you think sometimes like getting tools and adding tools to your business sometimes often makes it even worse, like this pollution that you have without like specific systems?
Yeah. We get shiny object syndrome, and what are we going to do with more tools, right? Like, so you still have to implement the tool. You still have to learn the tool. Now, we did it. I mean, obviously you mentioned at the beginning, and thank you. Yeah. Our software is Journey Builder, but big secret, Journey Builder is Go High Level, right? We do everything on top of Go High Level. We just develop custom solutions in it under our white label brand. It's just another tool. And when we get so deep into saying, oh, and it does this feature, and it can do this, and it can text, and it can build websites, and it's your CRM, and it can blah, 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 people check out. Like, they think, oh, a new tool is going to fix everything. No, you're going to fix everything using a tool. So why don't we just find the tool that works and make that work, right? Instead of just trying to find that magic silver bullet. Look, after all these years in business, I don't believe there is a magic silver bullet. right? We have to build relationships with people. We have to use the right tools to get the job done. There's lots of little if we do or we have to do's. It isn't one magic silver bullet, right? So I think the biggest thing is when you're looking at all these tools, you have to know, like, am I going to implement all this? Who's going to put it all together? You rarely will you find something off the shelf that you just buy and then poof, it works, right? You have to customize it, format it, change it, tweak it, add to it, adjust it, customize it. There's lots of those things. So more tools isn't the answer. And I'm guilty of the shiny object syndrome. I've spent a lot of money on tools that I don't use in my career. So I usually relate really well when I talk to business owners, because I'm like, no, I know exactly where you're at, and I'm guilty of it. But the wisdom that I've gained over time is that I know that a new tool just being purchased is not fixing anything. A new tool that's being purchased is going to possibly help me get there, but there's going to take effort on my part. And I think sometimes we don't remember that.
You also, Jay, talked about it, and I love this sort of like concept that you have developed, this framework of like your company cortex. Can you talk more about like what is the definition of this? Like what can people expect? Because that's going to be one of the key elements in your session.
Yeah. So first of all, it's not a software product. It's a methodology, right? The company cortex is a method for activating your company's existing knowledge. Right? You've already got the knowledge. We've already established that. Now, how do we activate it? How do we get it in a way that everybody on your team can use? The engine that we use is Google's Notebook LM. It's a great product by Google. Notebook LM is fantastic. It's free, right? And it lets you upload your own documents and then ask it questions. So it's kind of like your own custom AI tool. But the neat thing is it's grounded in just your own sources, right? So there's no hallucinations. It's not going out to the web. It's not going out to find other things. It can do those things, but in this methodology, it's only pulling from your SOPs, your company handbook, your contracts, your onboarding strategies, your sales calls, right? Like if you had a great salesperson on your team who recorded all of his sales calls, and then you hire your next salesperson and you want to get them up to speed fast, and they can go to an AI and say, what would Bob, the best salesperson ever, say to this objection? And boom, within seconds, it's right there. You didn't have to go ask Bob. Bob didn't have to take you to lunch and explain how to sell. You got the answer right there on day one. How much faster do you get up to speed now? Right. And the way we do it is it's really run on 3 pillars. There's cleaning your documents, which we call source hygiene, right? You got to clean the documents up so AI can read them. A lot of people think, oh, I'll just dump all my PDFs in there and it'll be great. No, that's not gonna work. Cortex architecture, which is harder to say, easier to do. It's just 6 notebooks. And then intelligence activation is a fancy way of saying use it daily. So every answer is grounded in your documents, no hallucinations, no generic advice. And it's really the operating system that your business doesn't have yet.
You also talk about this 6 brains. Mm-hmm. So like these are the pillars you just like shared with us. And there are 6 brains, which I think you mentioned that these are really the notebooks, right? That you try to focus business owners to get started. How does this work? I know that you're going to guide us through the session on working that. And I'm curious too, after this, on what can we expect from the people that are going to the session? What are they going to walk away with? But yeah, talk to me about the 6 brains, because I'm curious about that from an operations standpoint.
Let's do it. So there's 6 notebooks. I call them cortexes. They're individual cortexes. They're individual brains within your complete operating system. So you have your HR cortex, right? So your handbook becomes a chatbot. Field staff get audio training, quizzes auto-generate from your own materials. So you can use anything in HR, employee handbooks, and how much PTO do I have? I've been here 4 years. How much PTO do I have? And just ask it. Or how much PTO do I have in my first year, right? You have your sales cortex. That's where I was just mentioning, your sales reps can get competitive briefings in like 60 seconds instead of 20 minutes of digging through stuff. Operations, that could be like maybe a 70-page vendor contract that gets reviewed and flagged in 10 minutes. Meeting amnesia, right? How many times do we get those neat little Fathom or Otter transcriptions and it has this nice summary and then we forget what we all talked about and then we're like, who was supposed to do this? And it's like, why did we have a recorder in the first place? Throw the transcripts into your operations cortex. Marketing cortex, one blog post becomes 6 formats in 15 minutes, right? We show you how to do it. We're going to show you that in Arkansas. We also have it in a course that we just released. So that's what I got. HR, sales, operations, marketing, research cortex. So take all these source documents and synthesize them into one executive brief. Like that's something that Notebook LM can do. And you want to do that when you're researching. And you might even use research out on the web in that case to pull in certain things, or you can just use your own internal information. And then probably the best one for me as an entrepreneur is the leadership cortex, right? It's institutional memory. Every decision, lesson, strategy, if I'm doing a go-to-market strategy or planning, put it in my notebook and then it can analyze it. It can really be harsh. We ask it, there's a little key that we use called the ruthless PM, right? Whenever I ask the ruthless PM, I get the answer whether I'm ready for it or not, right? And that's just the cool part. So those are basically the 6 categories. And we believe that, you should break these things up by department, right? Because departments won't change, but the documents and everything else will. So, if you broke it up by project, right? Projects come and go. Projects start and finish. Departments are just there, right? So if you keep it separated that way, it's scalable.
Something, Jay, that I so enjoy about you is that you have this it's a gift. We talked about this. You have this gift to teach, and you have this willingness to go above and beyond for people. And I have no doubts that the people attending, our attendees that are going to be selecting your session, are going to get so much knowledge and so many opportunities to really be impacted in their businesses by just attending to your session. I'm curious of what you're planning when you're envisioning, you're very much of a visionary as well. When you're envisioning people coming to your session and leaving, what do you want them to either take with them, to feel? What is your vision for them right now?
You know what? This might even sound a little bit cliche, but I was a big fan, and still am a big fan of Ryan Deiss with Digital Marketer. I was a certified partner for a number of years. He always talks about just delivering value in advance, right? Just bring it, right? Bring the value, do something for somebody else, be kind to somebody else. Don't hold the secrets back, right? You should never hold the secrets back. I don't care whether it's internal or external. Like there was that old comic strip. It was like the 2 businessmen talking and they're like, well, what happens if we train them and they leave? And the other guy looks back and goes, what happens if we don't train them and they stay? Right? It's kind of like that. I'm a big believer in just giving as much value as I can, regardless of what may come from that on the back end. And you know what happens? I start building real relationships. When people leave the session with me, are they going to know how to build a series of notebooks in Notebook LM that they can build their own company cortex? 100%. But are they also going to leave saying, I got a new friend, or I met new people and it was a really fun workshop to be in because the room was positive, the room was smiling, the room was having a good time, the room was laughing. We go to conferences for an experience, right? We can go and we can sit and take notes and be like, ho hum, how was that guy? Not too good. How was your guy? It was okay. What did they talk about? I don't really remember anymore. I got to look at my notes when I get home. How many times have we done stuff like that? Yeah. Karen, when people leave my session, I want them to be like, you know what, Jay, I'm going to reach out to him. I think, it was great. I was glad to hear from him. The session was fun. I learned a lot. He made it real easy and practical, and I'm able to implement. As a matter of fact, when they leave my session, I want them already starting. like started building the notebooks. It's very easy. I'm going to talk through it. Right. So that's what I want. I just want people to come and really experience. Just really experience it. Just have an experience. Don't just come because your company paid for you to go there. Like, go and immerse yourself. That's what I want.
I was just talking to somebody that's joining us at the event, and we were chatting about the impact of these experiences that we get to put ourselves on, or we get to invest to do, like coming to an event. It's one client, right? Like normal, it's like one client. Like the impact that this can have, whether it's like the motivation that you need as a business owner to connect with other people that are in the same boat that now you have as resources, right? What would you say for those that are still thinking about coming to the event, that haven't bought their tickets? I don't know why, but let's that haven't bought their tickets. What would you say to them in terms of like attending events in general, but obviously at Scale with Stability?
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't be able to answer very fairly or accurately had I not gone last year. Right. But I was there, and right outside the campus of Harding University is a little coffee shop too. It's really, really good. You should just stop in and get a cup of coffee. I just say, you know, what I like about Scale with Stability and the event in general is that a lot of these events happen in like a city where there's a lot of distraction, right? Whether that's Dallas, Austin, Vegas, San Diego, whatever. Harding University, you're there. It's conference. It's free of distraction. I mean, Harding is on, you know, it's just in a little town, and, you know, it's not, there's really not a lot going. I mean, it's a nice town with a lot of things, but there's not a lot going on that's going to distract you. You're there for the conference. You're there. You're with the people. And one of the things I loved about it is opening the day in prayer. I really enjoyed the emphasis put on faith and family, right? Because really our families pay a price when we're running a business, right? And of course we need to know how to do that. If you're on the fence and you believe in something bigger than just your business, if you have a mission, if you have a family, if you're a believer, if there's a purpose that gets you up out of bed every morning to go do the work, then I think you owe it to yourself to get a ticket and come hang out with us, because you're just like us. Right. And I like to go where my tribe is hanging out. I always say, like, I went to Karen and JC's event last summer, and I said, oh, this is my tribe. And then I went to an event recently that you guys were at. And I even said, I was like, I belong in this room. And if you believe in something bigger than yourself, something bigger than your business, and you care and you genuinely want to be able to run a business and be home at night or be with your family as much as you can be, then you need to go to Arkansas for a few days. Right. And there's no two ways about it. It's just simple. Just do it. And I can't wait to see you there. When you do, come to my workshop and we'll have fun.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. You know, I think it's so true. You know, the fact that we get to host it at a campus, like a university campus, it does make you feel like you're going back to school. I remember that, like,
Absolutely.
Jonathan Mast and everybody was like spending like, they were there until like late at night, you know, like I think like 11 p.m. just like talking business. And I honestly foresee that happening a lot, you know, during this 3 days. I agree totally with you. The fact that, you know, you're able to, sometimes, you know, in business, we lose track of why we're doing what we're doing, you know, because it's not all about money a lot of the times for us. You know, there's times that you like just the chaos, the volatility, you know, the ups and downs, like make you question that. And having, you know, an opportunity to ground yourself and to be with other people, especially if you're somebody that understands that this business is really a gift, that it's not ours, which I think you and I would both totally agreed on that. It makes you last longer. I don't know. I appreciate you, Jay. I know that your session is going to be so impactful. If you're And I think this session, it's not just for the business owners. Like, I think this is a session also that, you know, their operations, that are COO can like be part of this. Like, this is something that you can come in if you're just getting started at whatever level of your business, because honestly, there are $1 million companies that are still struggling with having their operations in place. And normally it's until you really grow your business that you see things really breaking and falling apart. And that's normally where you have to like go and put something like this together. So thank you so much for this. I appreciate you. I cannot wait to see how people leave that room, because you're going to take care of them. And I am so excited. They're going to, like you mentioned, they're going to have not only a whole new perspective on their operations, but also another point of contact, another resource, another friend that they can reach out to. And
yeah, 100%. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I just to reiterate on that for sure. I want, I just want to help them get their house in order, so to speak, right? And if they leave with any of those things that you mentioned, then I think it's a big win for me. If one person, you know, implements the notebooks, or one person walks away with a Google Meet set up for me and that person to have, then it's a win, right? So I encourage everybody to attend. And Karen, you are the best. Thank you so much for doing this and inviting me.
I appreciate it. I cannot wait to spend time with everybody. Skillstability.com/summit. Go and get your tickets. Make sure that you, if you can, join the VIP, because that's going to be really cool. But just make sure that you get into that room. You never know what I always believe that we're one conversation away. We're one interaction, one thing that's going to set us up to the next level. So make sure to be there April 22nd to the 24th. It's getting there. I mean, we're so close. I cannot wait. And for everybody that's watching this, make sure that you mark this session as one of the sessions that you need to attend. So thank you, Jay. Cannot wait to see everybody. See you guys.